All right, guys. So just got done with work. I got to come back here and get work done even more after I go lift. But I'm gonna go hit a quick lift. I got deadlifts and a little bit of bench today. Still deload, so should be pretty easy. Should move pretty well. We'll see. All right, I'll catch you guys in the gym. All right. So I'd say that was pretty good. Nothing too crazy, but overall, I'd say pretty good. So, I mean, it was only a deload, so it wasn't anything crazy, but it is what it is. What I will say is I was very happy because I did a deadlift single for an RPE 6, meaning I could have done it. It looks like I could have done 4 more, is what that means. And it was 500 pounds flat, and it moved perfectly. It moved exactly how I wanted. That's exactly the number that I wanted, so I am A-okay with that. What I will say is, I probably could have gone heavier in the sense that when I was originally lifting and such. But you know, it's okay because I'm at a different point now where I'm trying to kind of rebuild some stuff. I'm running into issues, and there's. I think the thing that I've learned here is that you can either take the hit, whether that would be for me, my back, or like my lower back, or my tendonitis, or anything like that in my arms. I could either take the hit and say, well, that's it, I'm out, can't do it anymore, I'm dead, however you want to say it. Or you can start by saying, all right, what can I do to work around? What can I do to stay strong? What can I do to be better? Because I will say that's where I'm at is, I can't do the weight that I want to do right now just because I've been out of the game for a little bit. I can't do what my coach is giving me right now. And, it's frustrating. But my coach is like, all right, we'll adjust. We'll figure it out. We'll drop a day. We'll do whatever it takes. And that's the mindset that I have to have is we'll do whatever it takes. And I've talked about this before, but I just want to reiterate that is the mindset you need to have to succeed. Instead of seeing a roadblock and saying, well, I can't move, you look for another road. You look for the grass patch. You look for the walking path that's been dug out by people before. You look for that kind of stuff because that detouring may actually help you on the way because it actually may be a shortcut. Not all the time. Sometimes that track is a little bit harder, but you know what? You need to keep moving. If you stop moving, you're dead. And that's something that's very, very important. It's okay to take a rest for a second and continue to move. Or in a sense, if you're running, it's okay to start walking, but you're still moving. You're still proceeding with your path. When you dead stop, your body wants to stay at rest. It's Newton's law. Object in motion stays in motion. Object in rest stays at rest. If you stay in motion, you will continue to stay in motion. If you keep moving forward, no matter how slow, no matter how fast, you will continue to move forward. And I know it's a basic principle, but it is something that a lot of people miss. It is okay to stop if you continue. It's okay to stop if you're stopping your pace. It's okay to stop if you had a fast pace and you need to slow down. It's not okay to stop, period. It is not okay to basically freeze frame yourself because that is when it's dangerous. That is when it is basically you giving up. And if you give up, it's going to be really hard to get that ball rolling again. Because you're going to need a lot more energy to get yourself up, to get yourself out, to get yourself to do what you were planning on doing. And a lot of people don't recognize that. And that's okay. It's an important principle that you learn with time, trial, and tribulation. What I will say is, when it comes to those kind of situations, you need to give yourself a little bit of credit, like I am, because a lot of people stop. It is a very low percentile that will continue to move forward off of, again, I'm using my lifting as the main thing because that's what you guys are seeing and that's what I'm feeling. And that's what I'm doing currently. A lot of people, if they had like the hip injury or if they like are feeling pain and they're like the wind is knocked out of them kind of thing and it's like hard to move and you're grunting and all this kind of stuff, a lot of people would say, all right, I'm done. I got to let it heal. I got to let it recover and all this kind of stuff. My first question to my coach was, all right, I'm going to take a day or two. And when I'm taking a day or two, so when it comes to like that hip injury or that hip problem, a lot of people may have just called it. May have said, all right, you know what? That's it. That's my sign. I need to stop. And they would have just let themselves go. They wouldn't have tried any harder. And that was it. What you need to do is you need to continue moving forward. You need to keep moving forward. And when I had that situation happen to me, I immediately told my coach, I was like, all right, I got to stop this session because it's bad. And, you know, I'm leaning over, the wind's getting knocked out of me and all this kind of stuff, and it hurts. It sucks. But my question to my coach was, all right, what can I do around it? What can I do to stretch it out? What can I do for this? What can I do for that? I was trying to find solutions. I was trying to make the process work. Because in my head, I have a goal in mind. And I'm not going to let very much stop me unless I'm literally like broken arm, broken leg, something happened. I was in a car accident that was like internal bleeding. Like, I mean, extreme. But if it's just something like, oh, my tendonitis is flaring up, or oh, my hip is hurting a little bit. All right, let's work around it. Let's figure it out. And that's the kind of mindset you need to have to be successful. That's the kind of mindset you need to have to be good at what you do, whatever that is. Whatever you're supposed to be good at, or whatever you're supposed to be good with, that is what you need to have as your mindset. Because if you continuously stop, if you continuously lose your momentum, it's going to be a lot harder to move forward with where you left off. And because of that, it's going to be a lot harder and it's going to take a lot longer than what you originally thought it was going to take. That's the difference. Consistency is key. And that's what you need to focus on, is consistency. And that goes for everything. Because if you put, like, people say you need to put 100% all the time. No. No. You don't put 100% in all the time. You put 100% in when it counts. So when it comes to like my lifts and such, like, absolutely I'm putting 100% in. Sorry. Like, when it comes to my lifts, I'm putting 100% of what I can on the important days. So like when it came to like this single, especially in prep, that's when I put 100% in, is prep. And that's when I have to like very much so push myself, where it's like, if I'm having an off day, I got to be like, all right, you know what? We're having an off day, but we're going to continue through it. We need to get this workout in because it's important. You need to put in that effort. But the thing is that if you continuously put in 100% and you're always gassed all the time, you can get burnt out. And it's a real thing. I mean, I've seen it happen a lot of times with people that are working and all this kind of stuff. I mean, when you are working yourself to the bone and you are working as hard as you can, which can be seen as a good thing, you'll get to a point where you're looking at your work and you feel physically sick because you can't take it anymore. You can't handle it. You don't want to do it. And you want to make sure that you are pacing yourself and you are using the fuel that you have wisely. So for me, when it comes to lifting, I don't want to say I'm going through the motions, but I'll put in like 70-75% in effort, I would say, when it comes to like my regular lifts in my off season or my non-prep time. But then when it comes to prep, I put my foot on the gas and I go. And that's the thing, is that you kind of have to do the same thing with everything, because you'll if you if you're using, I'm trying to think of it in the best way possible to say it. So think of it like um if you're dumping out water into a tank, and you're wanting to put in as much water as possible. 100% understand that. So as soon as your cup is full, you're like putting it in, and you're putting it in, and you're putting it in. Well, how are you getting any water? Like, what's satiating you? Nothing. So at some point, you're going to be so thirsty that you have to stop filling the tank and just keep drinking and drinking and drinking. And once you're looking at the tank, you're almost getting sick of thinking that about that time when you were absolutely quenched of thirst. It's the same thing. What you can do is, when you have a glass of water, if you put 75% of it into the tank and you drink the other 25, you're going to be able to go much longer. You're going to be able to do it without having to stop, because you're quenching your own thirst. You're taking care of yourself. It's the same thing. And this kind of goes to my talk about yesterday, when I was talking about, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. It's the same precipice, but it's in the sense of, when it comes to work, or when it comes to like lifting, or when it comes to something that you're very passionate about and you're putting your heart and soul into it, leave some heart and soul for you when you walk away. Leave part of you for you, in a sense. Because if you leave and you put in all of this energy and all of this effort and everything that you can, and you have nothing left for you, you're going to run dry quick. And that's what I would say, is you need to make sure that you pace yourself. Because if you pace yourself, you're going to do great things, because you're going to be able to go for longer. You're going to be able to do what you need to do. You're going to be able to accomplish what you're wanting to accomplish without having to stop, or without having to legitimately lose yourself or lose that drive. And that's the thing, is that you need to learn when to push on the gas and when to let off. And it's at different levels too. Because if you have, let's say for work, if you have a project for work, well, you need to kind of step on the gas a little bit. But if it's an extended period of time project, like if it's going to be for a month, you can't just hold on the gas and throw everything else to the wayside and just drill that, because then that project is going to get done. But then your other work that you're supposed to be working on top of that, is going to go bad, and then you're going to be stressed. It's going to pile up, and it's not going to be good, because you just dug yourself into a hole. If you pace yourself, and if you find, like I said yesterday, if you find that balance, it is going to be a lot better for you. Because once you have that balance, and once you are not only able to find what you need to do with each item, and find that balance and find that rhythm, you're going to be able to do what you need to do when you need to do it. What I will say to you guys is that, as much as you do need to make sure that you're staying on top of things, when you guys are doing your due diligence and when you guys are doing what you need to do, you need to find a way to make sure not only that you're taking care of yourself and that you're having that balance, but that when a roadblock comes in your way and things get hard and things seem like they're just going to a path of I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't do it, you find a way to do it. Because there's always a way. There's always a workaround. There's always something that can be done. It is naturally based off of how much you can sink your heels in and do your work. But again, you need to make sure that you don't put yourself in a situation that you're going to regret later. And you also need to make sure that you're going to put yourself in the best possible outcome, because that is when you will grow. That is when you will find what you need the most. You will find what you need to do, and you will find the pace that will make you the most successful person. But I will say that is all I got for today, guys. Until next time, peace.